to devote, 40 hours a week of your life is a lot of time to this cause was really great to hear. And so I really did focus on building those connections and making sure that I worked hard so I could execute on everything I was looking to create.
Yes. Sweet victory for you. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So would you say, like, if you had to say there was one big win you've had since you graduated, what would that be?
Yeah, I actually think, it was probably a combination of actually turning down that first job offer because I was so scared to go into the world without having myself like completely planned to a T. And I think I was very, very proud to have been able to like build myself up and not, take on something that I wasn't actually interested in. And I know that's a really, really kind of lucky position for me to have been in to be able to do that. But I was proud of myself for kind of taking a step back and really looking at the fact that, sometimes it's not always the right choice for you to just say yes to any position. So I was really proud of myself for that. And then it was probably, being invited to a event with my current position that was focused on honoring lawyers who were it was a women focused event where they honored women who were making strides in law. And so I was able and lucky enough to speak with these women who had been focusing on creating laws to stop sex trafficking and, child slavery and things like that. And it was just such a privilege for me to have been invited and even kind of considered that. I felt so happy that a company that I was working for was able to have an impact like that at all in this field. And so I think I felt very honored by that, and it was something I'm very proud of still.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I mean, well, congrats on that, and you should feel honored because it's making a difference in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
But the first thing you said about saying no, that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Saying no, it's a really hard thing to do, setting boundaries and saying no and knowing what's important to you, and it gives you such power to be able to do that. It's also scary, but
yes, it was terrifying. I panicked about it for 2 weeks straight.
I bet. I mean, but the thing is, once you do it, you learn how to do that early on, then you'll be able to do it like for the rest of your life, and it's so empowering. So I'm so happy that you shared that. That's super cool.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're welcome. So one thing we didn't talk about, which is a big concern of young women that are launching, is the money management. And you obviously had jobs and stuff, so maybe it wasn't as much of a concern, but how did you think about that? How did you approach managing money?
Sure. So when I graduated school, I kind of had a major focus of trying to build myself enough savings for like a 6 months to 1 year long emergency fund. And so something that I did that was really helpful was once I got my first real job and I wasn't living on like fellowship stipend money. Because that's not a great way to survive. But when I got that first position, what I did was I automatically put a certain amount into a savings account that I had separate from my kind of day-to-day checking and bills paying, that kind of account. And I really don't touch that savings account at all. And so it was a great way for me to automatically have a certain amount of my paycheck go into this other bank account that I basically never take money out of. And it helped me build a fund because it just wasn't available for me to easily go and use it to like buy whatever I wanted. So that was a really great kind of strategy that I took on from my mom, actually. She kind of talked me through a few different options, and she said it's easier, the more mindless it is, the easier it is to save. So she was like, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and it's just building, that's a great way to do it. And the other thing is kind of looking into investments. So I started building my 401k and focused on kind of trying to understand where exactly my investments should be placed. I didn't want it to be too risky. I didn't want it to be so safe that it wasn't growing. So that was kind of a balancing act, and it was, an interesting way to learn how quickly the stock market can change. But it was a great opportunity, and I think I'm really happy that I'm starting to build a stronger platform there as well.
I'm really happy for you, and I love your mom. Shout out to REAA's mom, because so many of us get out there and we don't think about it and we don't focus on it, and it's pay yourself first. I love that. I love that you did that. Yeah. That is super victory for you.
Yes, it was really, really helpful.
It gives you so much power, right? It gives you so much freedom that you have that.
Exactly. It's just like a good comfort factor too, to have a little bit of money saved away. It's really comforting to know that.
And it gives you freedom to do other things that you might want to do, or change your mind,
Right, exactly.
And be independent and all those things. So that's awesome. Okay. So I'm going to lead that into the last question that I ask all my guests is, what one piece of advice would you give to the sisters that are launching? I mean, I love the money thing, but would that be the advice you would give? Like, what out of everything that you've learned so far, like, what do you think you could synthesize that to?
I actually think it would go back to what I really consider my big win, and it's learning to say no and to create those boundaries. I think especially women are often really working hard, and they don't want to, stop to give up on any task, or they don't want to stop and think about, is this actually what I want to do, or is this just the next step in this career path? And so I think stopping and taking stock of what you want to do, creating those boundaries, and making sure you're making yourself live in a happy environment, both in career, at home, anything like that. I think it's a valuable and sometimes underused word. So it's definitely something that's a great way to kind of really create a safe space for yourself and allow yourself to grow in many cases.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much again for being here. And if our listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, they can look at my Instagram page. I'm always happy to, reach out to anyone who's interested. But I think we're going to link to my Instagram when this goes out. So hopefully you can just find me through that.
Okay, awesome. REAA, good luck with everything you do going forward. I know we'll stay in touch.
Yes, of course.
I love that smiling face. And listeners, thanks for being with us here on another episode of the Hero Whispers. Stay tuned next week for round 2 of Miss Jacqueline, JLY Music, who's going to talk to us more about her music love affair. And until then, get out there, slay those dragons. Peace and love.